The transfer window is now open, and Leeds United have quite a lot of business to do. We all know this, and in this video, I'm going to discuss some major links that have been coming out over the past few days, and a very quick note. Some of these might not be the newest of news because I've been away and bouncing around from place to place, but throughout this entire transfer window, I'll be attempting to do videos every single day, live streams, keeping up with the news as soon as possible. So if you're not already subscribed, that'd be really appreciated, really helps the channel, and it should keep you as informed as can be. So we all know that defensive cover is needed, and that is thankfully where we've got a good few links. I'm going to run through who each of the links is, where they're playing, how their season's going, how likely a move is looking, and then just sort of do a bit of a summary at the end. And it starts with the signing I wasn't expecting to see at all. It starts with Japhet Tanganga, former Spurs centre-back, now at Millwall, and he's a sort of key player for their side. He's played 21 matches for Millwall this season so far, out of 24, 25 sort of number. Completely guessing, I've not checked, but he's played a hell of a lot of football for them. The only time he hasn't is presumably knocks or suspensions. He has also filled in at right back at times, not necessarily at Millwall this season, but generally he can play out on the right. Very interesting, because if you're looking through all of the players on this list, they all tend to be able to play out on that right-hand side from time to time. Our right-hand side depth is not fantastic. Jayden Bogle, sure. But if he's injured, then it's Byram. And if Byram's injured, then it's question mark. Ethan Ampadu at the moment. Which, yeah. On the Japhet Tanganga point, I think it seems somewhat wild as a potential move for us. It would need to be permanent because Millwall aren't going to loan a player out at the moment when they are also potentially hoping maybe we can get the playoffs. It would be absolutely wild for them to just give one of their players to Leeds United, who are pushing for automatic promotion, and I don't really think he improves our side that much, so I don't think he's the sort of signing that we need at the moment. Another weird situation of a potential signing would be Ben Godfrey. Now, if you think you remember Ben Godfrey having signed for someone else in the past summer, you'd be correct. That would be because Ben Godfrey went abroad. He went to Serie A, where he is now with the league leaders. And normally you'd think, fantastic, well done. Good job, Ben Godfrey. However, in spite of signing completely freshly for them for something like €10 million, £10 million, somewhere in that sort of region, Atalanta aren't really playing him. He's had a grand total of 23 minutes so far this season, which is not what you would want if you move to a side that is at the top of Serie A and you're like, cool, brilliant, might get myself a winner's medal. I'm going to have a look at Atalanta's stats, and he's earning a hell of a lot of money, to be completely clear. €89,000 a week. It's a hell of a lot. That's not something that we can necessarily afford. And if you're sorting by the number of minutes played, he is the 5th fewest minutes of any player at Atalanta this season. On the bright side, he's used primarily as a fullback in the past year, so I guess that right-back problem would be solved. But I don't really feel like that's going to be a likely move that ends up well for anyone, and he is apparently not needed by their side, and Atalanta are saying anyone can sign him. If we were to sign him, it would likely be on loan because he's got a contract until 2029. You don't sign players with that long contracts because their value is going to be through the roof compared to their actual level of ability, and I don't know if Ben Godfrey improves us significantly. All I know is it feels like one of those links that's relatively lazy, where someone said, Leeds are looking for that position, he's definitely going to go somewhere, let's drum up a little bit of a conversation. If we do go for it, it'll be a very weird one, but I'd understand some of the logic. One of the moves that I think would be a significantly better one, however, is that of Nico Elvedi. Nico Elvedi plays in the Bundesliga for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and you might think, that club name rings a bell. That is because that is where Daniel Farke previously managed before being at Leeds United. It might have been the immediate job before, I can't remember. It was in the period before he came to Leeds anyway. And I think he managed Elvedi for a period, which is really good. Already forms a link between player and manager. And interestingly, he plays all the way across the back line. Can be at centre-back, can be right-back, can be left-back. And it's weird because he's not played that many minutes for them. He could feel very hard done by because he's got 9 appearances this season, but he's putting up absolutely spectacular numbers. So in terms of Non-penalty goals, this is comparing him to other centre-backs. He's in the top 17%, top 5% for XG, top 11% for XG plus expected assists, top 10% for progressive carry, so you get a little bit of that road on drive through the middle, and he's comfortably above average in interceptions, blocks, clearances, aerials won. Fantastic footballer who isn't afraid to have a shot. This is because he's happy out in those wing-back situations and is happy as well as a centre-back that just roams a little bit, which is a very, very good player to have, especially at championship level, and I think he's a better player than the championship as well, if I'm going to be completely honest. Wolves do also have a little bit of an interest in him, which could be a problem for us, especially if they make him move relatively early. But with the way that the 49ers work and the way that they do things a little bit quietly, if it's a case of getting it done before Wolves know that they're in a competition, then we'll do pretty okay. It's hard to judge exactly where Gladbach's take on this will be, but a move does look very, very feasible. It wouldn't necessarily be cheap. We need to keep that firmly in mind. It's not going to be a case of, oh, we'll just get him on a free or we'll get him for £1 or £2 million. That's not what's going to happen here. Primarily because that's not how it's going to work. But he does only have 2 and a bit years left on his contract. If Gladbach want any decent sum of money out of him, it's going to have to be this year, or they risk losing him on a free further down the line. And it feels like Elvedi's going to go somewhere. For me, it's just a question of where. So to sum up, if we're looking at all of the links that we've seen at the moment, Tanganga absolutely does not excite me. He's not someone that I would want us to be signing. Admittedly, he's defensively solid and wins headers from set pieces, but the rest of his game is a little bit not ideal. He's not that great with his feet compared to our other centre-backs, and we would need to look at better options, such as Godfrey, who might be good enough to get us promoted out the Championship, strictly on loan. If it becomes a conversation about taking permanently, absolutely not, because those sums of money could climb higher and higher and higher. We don't want to attach ourselves to Ben Godfrey for our time in the Premier League, because I don't think he's of the level to take that step up. There's a reason Everton let him go. And then finally, Elvedi, who is the best of the options, but in my opinion feels relatively unlikely. There's a lot of higher profile interest in him, and to be honest, he is firmly a Premier League standard player. So it would need a lot of persuading. It would need him to have a great existing relationship with Daniel Farke, and I don't know how that relationship is, obviously. But if we'd sign any of those, it'd be Elvedi, in my opinion. Well, in an ideal world. I think we look somewhere else, if I'm going to be completely honest. Either way, that's the links that exist at the minute. I will probably be recording another video tomorrow. This is meant to go out early in the morning, except for channel members. If you're not a channel member yet, you get videos like this like 6-7 hours early. So it'd be hugely appreciated if you could. It's 99p a month and it really helps the channel out. You can also like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you want us to sign, actually. I'm very, very interested in that. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo. The more I look at these numbers, the more I kind of want Elvedi, and that's really annoying to me. Ta-ra.